Katt Williams is known for his straightforwardness, and that hasn't changed. During his appearance on Carmelo Anthony's podcast, the discussion shifted to Kendrick Lamar, creating a more serious tone. What began as a light conversation about artistry and competition transformed into a profound dialogue about legacy, integrity, and the special connection between two men from different backgrounds who share a core belief: to remain authentic and never back down. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Hip Hop Showroom, where hip hop and celebrity drama never sleep, so hit that subscribe button so you never miss the mess. Let's get into it. When asked about the frequent comparisons between him and Kendrick Lamar, Katt acknowledged that at first glance, the duo might seem an odd match. One is a comedic powerhouse, while the other is a Pulitzer Prize-winning rapper. However, in a landscape where true authenticity is rare and many personas feel manufactured, people are starting to see a deeper link. They recognize two black men, respected and sometimes feared in their fields, facing challenges with genuine authenticity and a strong moral compass. "That's why I said I'm not someone you want to have a conflict with," Katt stated, his tone reflecting the determination of someone who has faced adversity head-on. "It's not a good look. I stand on the right side, and if I make a mistake, work with me. But otherwise, there's no reason for conflict, especially when we understand what Kendrick has to embody to perform there." He was alluding to Kendrick Lamar's notable performances in Toronto, the hometown of Drake, during his grand national tour. This was not just a scheduling decision, it was a bold statement. Kendrick's performance of "Not Like Us" at the Scotiabank Arena, a track that challenges Drake's entire persona, was more than just a hip-hop event. It was an act of courage and defiance. For Katt Williams, this felt all too familiar. Katt knows what it's like to enter a challenging environment armed only with the truth. His career has been filled with public confrontations, candid interviews, and viral moments that often cast him as the villain, until people eventually realized he was simply sharing his honest viewpoint. Sound familiar? "We're not talking about Drake performing in LA or the Bay Area," Katt pointed out. "We're discussing Kendrick going there and showcasing his work. That's what it means to stand firm in your beliefs. It's about being dedicated to your craft." That's the connection between them. The reason the comparison makes sense isn't that Katt and Kendrick are similar in style or performance, but because they both represent uncomfortable truths that don't cater to public opinion and remain steadfast regardless of the audience. "I said what I said here," Katt added, "and I'll say it over there too. What's important to me is that I strive to express my thoughts as passionately and accurately as I can. Keeping that energy is essential, so you have to respect it." Katt Williams has skillfully walked a tightrope throughout his career, balancing brilliance with backlash. Similar to Kendrick, he has received both acclaim and criticism for the sharpness of his words. Neither of them sugarcoats their messages or panders to popular opinion. In a world that increasingly favors polished and neatly packaged entertainment, their rawness can be jarring, yet it is also crucial. By 2025, this is becoming more widely acknowledged. Kendrick's Grand National Tour has emerged as one of the most talked about musical events in modern rap history, not just for the setlist or production quality, but for the atmosphere it fosters. In every city, fans gathered not only to dance but to witness a transformative figure who has redefined discussions around music, masculinity, loyalty, and power. The moment in Toronto when Kendrick performed "Not Like Us" and the crowd erupted in chants for an encore was significant, not just for the song itself, but for the context. It symbolized a man standing his ground in a challenging environment, asserting his truth with millions watching. Katt is well acquainted with that feeling. Both have faced criticism not for being wrong, but for being ahead of their time. Katt was calling out Hollywood's fakeness long before exposing the industry became trendy. Kendrick was building a legacy of soulful social commentary while the mainstream was still focused on club anthems. Now, both find themselves in a world that is finally catching up, but they aren't stopping for applause. What makes Katt Williams compelling when he talks about Kendrick is not just admiration, it's recognition. They both understand the experience of being deliberately misunderstood. They have been labeled as unpredictable, unstable, or too much simply because they refuse to compromise their authentic selves. They are aware of the difficulty in speaking truth in a world that resists accountability. They both bear the weight of holding their heads high while others question their character, craft, and purpose, only for those same critics to eventually concede, "You were right all along." Katt's recent resurgence in cultural discussions, ignited by his passionate and insightful interviews, mirrors Kendrick's current stage presence. They aren't trying to impress anyone. They are here to remind people of who they are, what they stand for, and why they remain unwavering. "You have to respect it," Katt emphasized. "This isn't solely about Kendrick. It's about every artist who values integrity over image and every creator who prioritizes truth over trends. That's the true comparison and connection." Following his 7 p.m. show in Brooklyn, social media erupted with activity. Clips from the performance went viral, and fans dissected every statement made by Katt Williams. Twitter threads began to highlight the parallels between him and Kendrick Lamar. One tweet remarked, "Katt Williams and Kendrick Lamar are cut from the same cloth. Both are truth-tellers. Katt's performing stand-up while Kendrick is in the studio." And that's exactly the point. When done right, both comedy and rap stem from similar roots: pain, perspective, and precision. They act as instruments for survival, resistance, and storytelling. Katt and Kendrick wield these instruments like swords, not to inflict harm, but to safeguard something sacred. In a culture where artists are often pressured to conform, Katt and Kendrick have carved their own paths. They refuse to water down their messages for wider appeal. They've chosen the long, difficult route, one without a clear guide, and are now at a point where the world is starting to understand their journey. What Katt understands, and expresses so powerfully, is that legacy is more than just success. It's about alignment, how closely your words match your actions and your readiness to exchange applause for authenticity. This is why he sees a reflection of himself in Kendrick, not because of fame, but due to their shared courage. Kendrick's performance in Toronto wasn't merely a concert, Katt said. It was a message, a movement, a mission. And if anyone knows how dangerous a message can be in the wrong setting, it's Katt Williams. So when people compare the two, it might not be an overstatement. Perhaps it's exactly what we need, a reminder that comedy and hip-hop are interconnected. Both serve as platforms for revolution. The artists who enter these realms, armed only with truth, leave behind more than just laughter or lyrics. They create a blueprint. Katt Williams isn't looking for praise, nor is Kendrick. Yet the world seems to be acknowledging their contributions. One viral moment, one sold-out show at a time. And the message? Stand firm in your beliefs. Even when the crowd boos. Even when critics voice their opinions. Even when the industry tries to push you aside. Stand tall, speak your truth, and let the outcomes unfold. Katt Williams and Kendrick Lamar. Two artists, two forms of expression, one powerful message. Be undeniable. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.